Hi guys, welcome to Olive's Tree. I'm Mandy and I'm one of the 12 branches on my mum Olive's Tree. I'm just about to make some bookmarks with a bit of an Easter theme and thought I'd bring you along. So have a look at what I've got here so far. It's not much, so. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a little bit of each one of these bookmarks that I'm making, and hopefully I can edit the whole thing together to make sense at the end. So this one's just a really rustic cross I've cut out. I've cut 2 layers of the calico I dyed with coffee, and in the middle I've got the off-white that I had. I've just written love there, and I'm doing a very simple embroidery stitch, and I'm leaving a very rustic weathered tail, I guess you want to call it. And so I thought if I just sort of bring you in to little pieces, and yeah, I could have stitched this before I glued it together, but with my fingers today it's much easier for me to have something a little more a bit stiffer to hold on to. And so I'm just very, very crudely stitching around this, as you can see, around the words. And when I get around the words, I will just do a single line of stitching around the edge of this one, and I'm going to leave it that simple. I did think of putting a little olive branch or something up here. Not really sure if I'll still do that. We'll just have to play that by ear. But this is just such a really easy, quick, sweet, sort of primitive style bookmark that anybody could do. If you're looking for ideas for bookmarks, just jump onto some of the platforms like, I forget its name all the time. I know there's Pinterest, but there's lots of, the Hoot, is it? No, oh, you know what I mean anyway. Just Google free templates, they'll come up. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm very, very crudely and roughly embroidering this, and that's okay. As I said, it's not a showpiece. So I'll come back when I've gotten all the way around and I'm going around the outside and show you what I'm up to there. Now, unfortunately, we're about to be overrun with some workmen out in the yard behind us, so I'm not going to be able to talk while I'm making any of these little Easter bookmarks. So I might do a bit of a voiceover at the end. So far, this is what I've gotten done on this little fella here. I think it's quite cute, just says love. And I think I'm just going to tie a little knot somewhere along here. Maybe, I'm not sure. I can work that out later on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to video, but there will be no sound, guys. I'm so sorry, but unfortunately there's nothing I can do. And I may even put a little bit of green crayon onto this one. So here's my little primitive bunny. I've also cut this little fellow out of the calico that I dyed with some coffee yesterday. Now I have 2 layers of the calico, and I have 1 layer on the inside of that off-white felt that I put between the crosses, and I'm just doing a really rough stitch around the outside, just holding those 3 layers together. And then I'll come through in the end and I will do a little bit of a lighter colour over his little tail that I've stuck on, and I'm not sure what ribbon I'll put along this one yet as tail, but I will find something so that he has got something to sit down inside your book. And I did glue this one together with some, I forget what the brand of the glue is. It's a glue stick. It goes on blue and it dries white. It's just a kid's craft glue, but I find it really helpful with things like this, especially when my fingers are a little sore. So I'll catch you up to the end and we'll see how he looks. Okay, so this is just 2 pieces of off-white felt that I've glued together, and I did cut my 3 hearts down to a smaller size, and the one hanging off the rick-rack stitch at the bottom, I've backed that little bit of fabric with a piece of felt. I glued it first and then just did a rough black outline. As you can see, I've done the same for the 2 hearts on the bookmark itself, and then just stitched around, and that one was really so fast, and yeah, it's come up really well. Now I've got this little Easter egg that I've cut out, and it's just pieces of felt. So the background is the off-white, and then I've just cut some random colours, and I'm just intending on stitching through them all with some black embroidery floss. And I'll just skip forward a little bit so you can. Okay, so this has been just an absolutely terrible vlog, guys, and I apologise. I just couldn't pull it all together in the end. I just wasn't feeling well when I made it yesterday, and the overwhelming noise just didn't quite work out. So I'm just going to lay them out and show you, just so that you can get an idea of things that you could do yourself. You don't need very much. There's my primitive cross out of my calico dyed fabric. Some scraps of felt into a little Easter egg, and you can see there beside I have that one. It's just a rectangle with a couple of hearts. There I have a little potty bunny and a little primitive bunny. So they're nothing, you know, extraordinarily exciting. I did put some green over the love there, a bit of a sort of olivey green with some crayon, and I think that, you know, that looks quite sweet. This one here was just scraps of felt, and I just kept going around in some black until I got it all sewn on. You need at least one Easter egg. Here's my chubby bunny. Here's just 2 pieces of felt with some light sage green blanket stitch, and I do need to wash his face. I've still got a couple of blue dots that will disappear with some water, and I've used a bit of vintage ribbon for a tail, so that's a bit cute. This one here, I did cut those hearts down, and I put 2 on the rectangle bookmark, which was just 2 pieces of felt, some rick-rack stitch, and another little heart onto some felt on the bottom of him. And then here's my little primitive bunny. So here's just 2 pieces of calico dyed with coffee, a piece of the felt on the inside, a little scrap of some black webbing, and then I've just put a little tiny bit of the off-white there on his tail. But I hope I've given you some ideas of some things that you might like to try. They're all very, very simple. Just use a little bit of imagination, whatever you've got, and I'm sure you'll come out with some things that you can be really proud of. Okay guys, so thanks so much for sticking through this vlog today. It's really been a terrible one. I hope you're enjoying my 2 little companions there on the table. and they have inspired me to get a pet rabbit, so watch this space. Okay, take care guys. I hope the world's treating you all kindly, and let me know in the comments if you decided to make a couple of bookmarks. They are a great gift to give to somebody that either has an allergy to chocolate, doesn't like chocolate, or their diet doesn't let them have chocolate. They might love books, so a bookmark, an Easter bookmark, great gift. But anyway, I hope the world's treating you all kindly. Take care for now, and I'll see you in the next one.